Okay, good. All right. Um, I have been myself, as you guys already know, using X39 now for, I better put this other phone on charge. So I'm afraid if it goes dead, we'll lose the meeting. Give me 1 second. All right. At any rate, I wished I had one I could show you from the past, but I think I can actually show you guys currently. Back in 2022, I had to do an MRI. And when I did, my L2, L3 was was a very severe nerve impingement. Uh, and so much so that I could not feel my left leg, almost the entirety of the left leg. Um, L2, L3 affects your thigh, your upper part of your leg, things like that. And but recently, when I moved to Texas, the doctor here requested me to do an MRI, a new MRI. He wanted to see what was going on as well, and so I did. And I'm going to share this with you guys here. Okay, the host is not allowed for sharing. Oh, now I got to ask for permission to share too. Oh gosh. You moved the charger closer. Oh. So let me give myself permission. Oh, we got Jason coming in too. And let's see. I want to be able to share. Let me get the host to let me share. Come on, host, let me share what I want to share. Um, hmm. I'll make myself the host. There we go. Okay. Jason, so good to see you. We are fixing to what I was just sharing with everybody. I'll start over here for those that are listening here. Um, for Jason for just now joining. But back in 20, I think it was either 2022 or 2021, I had had a severe uh, change in my spinal cord and I had lost almost all feeling to the left leg. You could literally take a knife and cut me and I didn't know it. That's how bad it was. I couldn't feel the thigh, couldn't feel the knee area, couldn't feel the calf, couldn't feel my left foot. I had just enough feeling, what we would call deep feeling, where I could still walk, but it was very difficult. And over time, it took a little over a year, I'd say about a year, 3 months, maybe a year and 6 months, I began to regain the feeling in that left leg. Slowly but surely, I got more and more feeling back. And when I moved to Texas, they require you to uh, see a different doctor here. So I went to a doctor here just to get things checked out, and he wanted me to do a new MRI. So I did a new MRI, and I actually can read MRIs. So I'm going to take and share this with you here, and I'll explain to you what we're looking at right here. This is my latest MRI. And I actually am the one that put the arrow on there because it's something I wanted to point out to the doctor in case the radiologist did not notice this when he was reading it himself. Um, this area right here, these are your disc here. This is your, oh, actually, your disc. These are your vertebrae. This is what we call a T1 type of scan, which reverses the way things look in the color as far as the density. T1 actually would cause your bone to look dark instead of white. And if you're T2, it does it the other way around. kind of gives a different imaging so you can look more at the nerve root there. What you have coming down here is your nerve root that goes all the way down and it runs on the outside of your spine there. And at this particular level here, I got a little bit of a uh, disc blown right here, but it's not compressed into the nerve root there. This down here is your L4, L5, L3, L2, and then goes up a little higher. Right here, this disc here, initially, let me see if I could do it this way here. It might make it a little bit better to understand. Initially, right here, let's see, it was about that disc there was blown so far in that half that nerve root right there, and I'll blow that up for you, was actually compressed. Um, that's what caused me not to have feeling. Now I don't have that compression. Now it just right there is just, it's still a little, it's still blown. It's not fully like it should be. It should be more like what you see here, but it's no longer pressing deep into the nerve root like it was before. And that's what changed me from having no feeling to that leg that I used to have. The arrow I put right here is because I noticed I had a cyst that had developed. That's actually because fluid has leaked from the disc and created that there. It causes some issues with both of my tops of my feet. Um, but that's normally only when pressure's put on it because it's just mainly it irritates the nerve roots is what it does. I figure it'd be easier to show you this image here rather than showing you a axial view. Axial view is where you're looking straight down on the top of the view, and that's a little bit more difficult for people to understand. But the fascinating thing is I remember what that image was like initially, and like I said, I wish I had that to show it to you because it was really, really, really bad there. And like I said, it was pushed about halfway in onto the nerve root itself. And the dangers that the doctors were worried about then, they really wanted to do surgery. They didn't even want to wait because when you're dealing with L2, L3, that also affects the groin area. If you begin to lose sensation there, you'll lose control of everything. You have to have emergency surgery at that point. Luckily, even though it was creeping up that high, I did not, and I just kept holding off, holding off. I would put on patches there every single day, kind of like Shannon used to talk about when we first met them. Shannon would wear a patch on a bulge on her back that she felt and just put the X39 right on it. And so what I did is I started putting the X39 directly on the area of the L2, L3 um, with the hopes that that would go down. And now, literally, I haven't got quite disciplined because we have all the snow here right now. Still, after a week, we still have a lot of snow. It's unusual. I expect it with Jason, but not here. But it's finally starting to melt off. And but I was jogging pretty much every other day, and I got to where I can jog almost a mile now, and that's something I've not done in 15 years. So to me, that's an amazing, amazing accomplishment from using these patches here. And and I would not, although I can feel the difference and I know there's a major difference, but to physically see it, and because I can read MRIs, I was blown away. In fact, when I got the MRI, I didn't even bother to go back to the doctor immediately because, I told him, I said, I'll be able to read it myself. So just when I come see you next time, we can discuss it and see what the radiologist says. But I did go back to see him, and he confirmed as well what I said was true. So he said, "You're right." And he said, "You're right. You do have a cyst there that's probably causing you still some nerve irritation." So now I've moved the patches down towards that area there, more towards that's kind of like L5S1 is where that part is there, where that leakage is there. So with hopes that what it'll do is it'll stimulate the stem cells more in that area there, and hopefully it'll help close that in to where it'll stop leaking, and then that cyst will eventually absorb back into the body. So, anyway, Mr. Jason, share with us, sir. Amazing guy. Uh,
Buddy, I'm just glad you're all right. Holy cow, that was something to witness right there. And man, that's great news. You're pretty much over all that and feeling good.
I have only one medication that I take now, and at
Okay.
62 years old, that's not bad. Um,
No,
so I
not bad at
am
all.
hoping eventually I won't have to take anything at all. And even as far as pain medication, I don't hardly ever have to use that now. I'll
Okay.
use Advil, because I still get
Hmm.
some inflammation from that cyst right there, some of that nerve irritation. But just the
Yeah.
fact that you can get up and go, can work out now, and can run. Running was always really something that I loved because I was a long distance runner back in school. Back when I was in high school, I actually ran marathon type runs. So that was in track. I ran the mile. That's what I ran. I wasn't fast like John. I'm a little bit of a slow runner, but I can run fast for a long time, but I can't run fast for a short time. Not that fast anyway. But but I still wasn't as fast. Some of these guys could run the mile like in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. I was still a six
Yeah.
minute mile runner is all I could do it in. I couldn't do it that fast. So that's like sprinting for a full mile. Forget it. But 15 miles, yeah, I could do that. I would jog 3 to 5 miles a day is what I would do just for fun.
Okay.
And did that for many years. So, and then finally one day though, when this injury come along, I didn't run any at all. It all ended. So even when I got
Wow.
tore up by a wasp one time, it was kind of a comedy thing for my daughter because I run into a big old black hornet nest up in Tennessee, and I didn't realize that they were pretty bad. In Florida they won't really bother you. Tennessee, oh no, it's totally different. They came at me like a wild swarm,
Yeah.
and I tried to run. Well, I couldn't run. I was still when I was having a lot of serious issues. I got about 3 steps and fell flat on my face. And while I lay there and they all came zooming in, boom, boom, boom. They're like like kamikaze pilots.
Yeah.
Ariella sitting over on the golf cart, just rolling in the floor laughing. I finally get to myself, get up, and they finally quit stinging me. And I said, well, what's so funny? She said, to watch you try to run and then crash and burn, that was hysterical.
Well, at least you couldn't feel the stings, right? Because your leg
Well,
was
well,
still kind of
if
messed
they
up at
did
the
it in my
time.
leg, I wouldn't feel it, but I could
There you
sure feel
go.
them in my back and my
All
head and my
right.
neck. I felt them all
Yeah.
there.
Man. Not
So
good, buddy. Not good. Well, I'm glad you're doing well now, and certainly a lot to be excited about now. Just absolutely extraordinary things happening in the world of LifeWave, and corporate's coming out with new things all the time. Got new incentives for people hitting director and director one, and raising up people to director, and getting additional $250 bonuses for that. That's pretty exciting. That just came out. So there's a lot of new additions to the compensation plan to people that are building this out. So that makes it exciting and it makes it fun. Um, and so it just depends on what folks are looking for. They did, the Merits did put out their Unstoppable event that's coming in early August down in Orlando. So that would be something to put out there as something if you really want to be plugged in. They expect over 7,000 people to attend that event. And
whoa,
so it's just growing. I mean, it's amazing. We're part of the fastest growing team and the most explosive company in the entire world of direct selling. I mean, that's what we're a part of, and I just left our team huddle a little bit ago. We do our team huddles on Sundays, as you know, and a bunch of folks on that. Ties over there on that call right now, so we kind of got two things going right now, but definitely wanted to jump on with you guys just because there's a lot of really exciting initiatives going. I know we're going to be doing some fun things with the Hosiers and the Varvels. in the coming months. Um, Certainly we do our, there's opportunity calls that we have, like even after this call right here, Pam Klim will be doing an opportunity call at 9 o'clock. Ty and I do one on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. And then Varvels do one on Thursdays at, I think theirs is actually now at 8 o'clock as well. So uh, those are
What
great.
about me? What about Mia and Richard? What is their, do you know the name of their meeting that they have, Jason? Because we do have, I'm going to post this up probably tonight and on our X39 channel there, but we do get a lot of people from California that
Yeah,
that
they
that
do one
time
Wednesday.
frame fits better.
They do one Wednesday night. I'll have to look in the group of what time theirs is. Theirs I think is at 9 o'clock Eastern. Um, that might be at. I'll have to get that to you, bud.
Okay.
I'll have to get that to you because I'm not sure which
All right.
website they're using right now. So we probably need to update those. Obviously, they do theirs on Wednesdays. And then, of course, I do a number of different one-off Zooms for people that just want to have a quick 20, 25-minute message. I'll do 7 or 8, 10 of those a week, just at various times that people ask for them. So I do a lot of those. It usually results in somebody coming on as a brand partner. And, and that's a business builder here that, if folks want to earn an extra $500 a week, they can do that pretty easily here at Lifewave. And, all you got to do is share about the X39, the power of the patch, and what it's doing for people. And, if you don't have a story yourself yet, well, we've got hundreds and hundreds, thousands of stories,
Yes.
frankly, of people that have had success, crazy stories like the one that Steven just told. And, my story's, nuts in its own right. I no longer have to wear my glasses because my vision's corrected. I lost 40 pounds. The worst pain that I had in my body, which was in my hip, was gone in a few days. It hasn't come back for 2 years. My lab work is impeccable, which is phenomenal because I had a transplanted kidney 10 years ago. And, so my lab work is tip top. And of course, I still take my anti-rejection medications. I always have to. Got to have your immunosuppressants if you're a transplant patient. But, the fact that this is um, non-transdermal means nothing is, going into the body, and that doesn't interfere with any of my meds. So that's great. Um, and so that there's just a lot of impressive angles to the story for people that are wearing the X39 and having success. Um, and so I've been pretty fortunate in that regard. And then, of course, if you want to earn, you just got to share it. And the more you share, the more people that are going to jump on with you, whether as a customer or
Right.
as a brand partner, and it can take you somewhere really good. So, but anyway, Stephen, there's a lot of good things coming. And I would advise anybody that if you really want to take this to a place where you'd like to start earning a bit extra, my wife Ty and we've been building businesses like this for 15 years. I've probably helped at least a dozen and a half people earn over $1 million in this type of business. I've heard hundreds earn over 100,000. We can help anybody that wants to do that, whether it's part-time, whether it's full-time. And frankly, it's hard to work full time in this business. I mean, even if you're trying to put a lot of time into it, I mean, you're talking a couple hours a day. That's about what you can put into it because there's only so much you can reach out to people um, and explain to them what you're involved in. But it is pretty special. We do have a product that no one else has. It makes it exclusive to us. And that holds a lot of water, because people they're wanting to reactivate their stem cells. They want the health benefits of it. And most people, if they're being honest with themselves, wouldn't mind an extra few $1,000s a month. It would definitely take the edge off for most people, most families. Even if it's just a vacation budget. I mean, hey, why not take a couple of nice vacations a year. Or it just helps you have a easier retirement. And for some folks, yeah, they're hurting and they need answers, and we've got them. So would love to help anybody we can, as you know, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric, you, especially while Jason's on here, I'd like for him to hear a little bit about what you shared with us last time, because I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on, and one thing after another that goes on over here and
Well,
everything.
yeah.
But
Okay. Can you hear me? First of all,
yes,
Yes.
yes, sounds great.
okay. Okay. Good. Good. Well, I mean, it's been a few months since I started this. I'm not even trying to remember exactly when I started, but when I started, I was having some trouble with my knee, and I didn't know exactly even what happened. But I was having seemed like it was some inflammation there and some pain too. It was just real stiff. It was hard for me to walk. Um, but definitely was having some pain issues too. And so I started with the X39 and X49 and the Eon patches. And it basically took a few months, but it did take the pain away for me to walk better and everything like that. Uh, One thing I um, used to, you know, a lot of times you have to do these things, but you have to do some running every once in a while. If you have to run down something, chase something, or whatever, on the farm. But I wasn't able to do that even after it subsided. When I could walk. Um, because every once in a while, and I would try it out. I would just try it, and you'd still feel the pain a little bit. But then during Thanksgiving week, I had customers coming to pick up turkeys, and it was before customers had come. There was a thunderstorm that happened, and I was in the house, and I needed to get over my building, and it was really raining hard, and I had to sprint, and uh, so that was the first time I had been able to sprint without any pain, and I knew that was it. And so I was so happy to be able to do that. And then
Amen.
and just a few weeks ago, just to kind of show, you know, how it really helped me out too was I had to uh, was buying some hay off of a neighbor, so I helped the neighbor load about 120 bales onto a trailer, brought it back and unloaded it myself. So there was a lot of up and down and everything like that on and off the trailer and a lot of walking involved, and did the same thing with some real heavy. The hay was pretty light, but then I had another load of straw that I had to get too, and the straw bales were really heavy. They're probably about 50 pounds each, and I was carrying two bales each time, uh, you know, to go stack them, and didn't have any problems, no pain. So it's just one thing that's just I'm very thankful for that. So
That is absolutely
That's great.
amazing. All right, John Moore, I think we need to have Eric live next to us somewhere so that when you got somebody that's willing to go help unload hay, you got Eric right down the road.
Uh, it takes a lot of
Oh,
strength to do that.
you ain't kidding. Even
there
even
you
small
go. There you
cigar
go.
bells are heavy.
Uh,
Hmm.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Eric. Good for you, buddy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was. Well, we're still kicking. I'm 57, and I'm still doing stuff and trying to do stuff like I was a 20
Yeah.
year old.
Well, and it's not often
20
you're in a
and
position.
dumb. But that's okay.
Yeah, that's hilarious. It's not often you're in a position that you have to sprint, like when's the last time, you know, that you were put in a position where you were kind of forced to like go to an all-out sprint
Well,
for,
I kind of needed it.
yeah, that's great.
Well, I tried
Listen,
it, and I tried it even
any
though I was on the
man,
patches. I tried it back in the fall. We had some cattle that we had to to move, and they were calves, and they're just young, dumb calves, and I there was a few times I had to try to run, and I couldn't, and you know, because it was just one of those things where you couldn't do it, and I was so daggone mad at myself because it's like, you know, I wasn't there yet, and everything. So I was just wanting so bad to be able to do it. I mean, I ended up flat on my face, you know, once, and you know, because I just couldn't do it. And but boy, when I could actually take off, you know, around Thanksgiving and sprint so I didn't get completely drenched, I was like, okay, I'm back. I can do this again. So
Good for you.
Yes,
Love to hear it.
that is amazing. You know what reminds me of, and I think of Dr. Gunner here because he's about this age here. I used to eat breakfast with this guy that was 95 years old. He was still driving. He was actually at that time, he would walk a mile a day to go with it. Every morning after breakfast, he'd go walk. And uh, and so I asked him, I said, well, what got you into walking a mile? He said, well, I didn't start walking until I was about 85. I said, what'd you do before that? He said, well, around 70, I started jogging. I said, you started jogging at 70 years old? He said, yeah. He said, but only at night. I said, that's crazy. I said, somebody run you over. He said, what's worse, if they see a 70-year-old guy running down the road during the daytime, they'd lock me up and put me in the kooky bin. He said, I had to run at night. Oh
there you
gosh. And
go.
John, you ran up until recently too, didn't you?
Well, my last competition was August of 2024, and a home injury to my knee has prevented me from running the past two summers. But I have hope that this coming summer, 2026, I can get back into competition.
And you'll be how old this year, John?
I'll be 79 in August. Yeah.
79. 79. That is amazing. And Ron,
Awesome,
you're what,
John.
71 years old now?
Well, in about, I think it's Friday I will be.
Friday is going to be happy birthday time.
Happy
So,
birthday, Doc.
yes. Now, Elkie is awfully quiet. I think because she figures she's the only girl in the room, she doesn't want to show her face today. She probably figures too many boys in one room.
Yeah, yeah, I'm intimidated, but you don't want to see me chewing and at dinner time.
Elkie,
But
didn't you have a testimony yourself recently?
no, just when Eric was talking, it just jumped in my mind about hay bucking. So yeah, I actually have something about that. We have some horses and we have to get hay as well. And so this year my husband usually helps me and we pick it out of the field onto a trailer and then you have to stack it up. So you have to handle these bales like twice, like Eric might know. So, and this year my husband had
Oh
surgery
yeah.
and he couldn't only drive the truck. So here I am. I actually bucked a couple tons of hay and stacked them up, and I thought, wow, I can do this. I thought I was not able to, and I the year before I had my helpers, and this year I didn't. I thought, wow, I can do this in my 50s. So that felt pretty good.
That is good. That is very good. That is not an easy thing to do,
Yeah,
stacking
and
hay.
I'm like only my weight is only two hair bales myself. I'm not much, but I think it's just sustained me, the X39. That's all I do is X39.
Yes. I do have X49, and I am starting to use that a little bit more here lately for two reasons. One, because you hear so much, especially if you listen to Mia and Richard Finnegan talk about it, or even the one girl that, and you probably remember her, Jason. It was I can't think of her name, but she signed up with the airline couple that Yana signed up. and she was a bodybuilder, and she started wearing X49, and she won first place in every competition. And she said that when she would put on X49 and work out, she could physically tell the difference, that she had so much more strength to be able to push the weights. And she's one of those girls. It's kind of like Mia Finnegan. I will never arm wrestle Mia Finnegan because I could not be embarrassed by a girl slamming my hand on the table. So,
Well, and
but
she
yeah,
was the first. I was going to say she was the Ms. Olympia, the first Ms. Olympia fitness competitor there, Buzz. So she's the first one to win that. So no shame in losing that one, possibly. I don't know, but I
I
can't think
saw
of who
her
the
do
other
a
person is
video.
you're talking about, though.
Right. Well, I can't, I wish I could think of her name. She came to some of our meetings early on, and she's into the really heavy bodybuilding type thing. And it was her first time she did a competition, and she won. Mia was in there at the time when we had that meeting. I think I have it posted on our YouTube channel there, but she
Okay.
got first place in every round she did. And but recently I saw where Mia had done a little workout video and posted it just to kind of help people my age on what you ought to do. Here
Yeah.
she is, and Mia is close to, I think she's about the same age as I am. I think she's around 60 or so. And she goes out there and stands on her hands and walking on her hands. And I'm like, how in the world at 60 years old does she do something like that? But I mean, she still
Yeah.
goes at it, did flips and everything. And I'm like, oh, my bones hurt just watching that. I don't care how many
Yeah.
X39s I wear.
Yeah. She's all
Oh,
about the
man.
flippies. Um,
Yes.
I'm looking for the website for those two actually, where they typically, I think, here it is. It is, they do it at patchpartyx39.com. So that's a brand new
Okay.
site. I've not even heard that one before. So they're doing theirs at patchpartyx39.com. 8
Okay.
o'clock
And what's
Eastern,
the 8
8 o'clock
Eastern?
Eastern on Wednesdays.
Okay. Well, that would work for anybody then in that case there. Reason I thought about it, because I know like Dr. Tesla, and I've got a couple of other people out there on the West Coast that kind of like to follow more for the time frame
Yeah.
that they would actually run in. But if it's at that time, maybe Wednesday might be better for some people as well. So I think it's good to kind of post a lot of these different ones, and I maybe ought to edit that and put it on our website as well, just so people would know times and where, like the one you and Ty are doing now as well.
Yeah, and we do ours at powerofthex39patch.com. That's powerofthex39patch.com. We do that on Tuesdays at 8, but that is my Zoom site, so I can do Zooms at any point for people. So if you need one at noon, or if you need one at 8, or you need one, at various times, like, you got a buddy and you're like, Jason, I need one at 5:30 Eastern, you just shoot me a text, and I can usually accommodate people. And sometimes it's not a full Zoom. Sometimes people just are like, Jason, I need to hear your story. I need you to tell your story in 5 minutes to my buddy over here. He's talking about jumping on the
Right.
patches. And then I can give you a story. And that's kind of how we do this business with a lot of people. And it may not be my story. It might be jumping on a phone call with Todd or Shannon or Ty or Rich or Mia or Andy or whomever. I mean, everyone's got a different story. Andy's got a great story of, you know, um, how he got rid of his frozen shoulder in a few weeks. I mean, that was something that had been bothering him for, a year and a half or more, and he couldn't even put his arm up over his shoulder. That's how bad it was. He couldn't golf, he couldn't do anything, and he got on the patches, and within a few weeks, he was able to do it all. That's a pretty amazing story. That, and of course, he's a multiple seven-figure earner here on the annual basis. So that's the fact that they've only been here 3.5 years, that's a pretty amazing feat to
That is.
already have
That
built
is.
something like that. We're not at that point yet, but we are growing to that point. And so it's just, you just keep growing and keep scaling and keep building. And if you use the merits the Merit's incredible system that they've put in place, we can all do that too. And if you wonder, like, well, what's the system? It's just a matter of, we help people grow to director. We help people grow, we help people get to director levels. And that can take weeks, it can take months. Sometimes though, it doesn't have to take forever by any means. So we can help
No,
people
not at all.
realize any degree of success that they want. It's just a matter of let's sit down, let's hash out a plan. We can get you going, and then it's just about getting the word out, and so we can help.
That is so true. And uh, there was something I was going to mention there, and I kind of slipped my mind what it was now. But um, I will say though, when it comes to people that want to earn with this, hands down, Steve and Gina Merritt, they have definitely put together an amazing idea. Oh, I know what I was going to mention now. And this is just an interesting principle. Ron said one day Kathleen was on, her and a girlfriend, and she had this pain in her bicep. And he said she said, "How do you get rid of that?" And Ron said, "If you reach over your shoulder here, there's a tender spot there." He said, "Find that spot there, put an Eon on there." Couple of nights ago, I woke up the next morning. I actually woke up out of my sleep. I had a lot of pain in both biceps, and I hadn't worked out or anything, for several days. So I knew it wasn't from that, and I didn't know what it was from. I think it may have just been low on electrolytes or something. But what I did is I got up and I did like Ron had told Kathleen's friend, and I put the Eon, and I had to do it on both back places there in that spot. Do you know, within 15 minutes, the pain in both those biceps were gone? That's how crazy this stuff works. So, and Jason, one thing I'm going to do, I would like to I'll try to really share with people next week, or through the week, I should say. I want to let people know, and we'll talk about it too on Tuesday. For those that really want to do this more as a business, I don't say it a whole lot when I'm speaking about it on my news channel, but I do want to invite people that want to be able to earn because, like you said, we are living in a time where people are struggling and they're looking for extra ways to earn income. You know, the proof that I have witnessed myself from what Steve and Gina have done, what Andy has done, you guys have done, and so many more. I mean, even like with the friend of yours that came in, I always forget his name, but the school teacher guy,
Yeah,
what's it?
Tony.
What's his? Tony, yes. Tony, he came in, I guess, probably right around the same time I did. And he's already a senior vice president in this business. Just word of mouth, just sharing it from person to person. Uh, you know, it's very doable, and it just depends. For those that want to do like that, I want them to be able to realize that there is that opportunity, and there's people like yourselves that are willing to work with these people to make that achievement happen. I may not be the right guy for it because I've got my poor brain in so many different places. It's not funny, but I'm sure there are people that have come on board that would like to be able to do that. And I think that that's really where, that direction needs to be working with someone like yourself and Ty or, you know, anybody in our team because everybody is willing to help everybody to achieve that goal.
Yeah,
And a lot of times, like you said, Jason, it's just as simple as picking up the phone and you got somebody you want to talk to, you need to share it with. And that you can do with me at any time. You can just pick up the phone and call me. And
yeah,
if nothing else, leave me a message, leave me a text, and I'll get back with you. And especially if it's something like you're trying to share it with someone, you know,
yeah,
don't hesitate. Just let me know at least that in the text. Look, Steve, I want to share this with someone. Can you make that extra time? I'll take and stop what I'm doing at that point. If I'm in a video or something like that and I see it pop up on the phone, I'll at least give
yeah,
you a shout back. I won't do you like I do Dr. Gunter, wait, I tell him I'm going to call him tomorrow, and about a month later I say, oh, by the way, I'm calling you back now. He said, boy, it sure took you long enough, didn't it?
Uh,
I think I said that to Eric too recently. I'll call you tomorrow, brother. And I don't think I called him back yet. So,
Well, on the last tomorrow, you still haven't called back. So,
it's coming. You just know it's coming. Well, I
oh
always I
God.
always love my opportunities to talk to you, Stephen. You know that. So, um,
Oh, it's just crazy. I mean, I have six attorneys that I have to deal with because of my dad's stuff. I deal with business and everything else. And then, of course, now trying to finish writing this book I started, my third book, and I'm just about finished it. And Yana's finishing her book, and it's just crazy. So,
well, you know how
and
much I'd love to be working with both of y'all, and y'all are. I mean, together, you guys are just an explosive pair. You really do complement each other well, and you know, if you guys decided you wanted to, build something exorbitant here, you certainly could, and you have what it takes. But like you said, I mean, you got a lot of things happening. But even if you could have an hour of focus a day on this, that's a lot of time to be able to scale and duplicate something significant here, and you could. Now I'd be all for it, and we'd certainly have everybody. I'd have all hands on deck uh, for the Manoon Express. You know that. So all you have
we
to do
need
is say
to
the
do
word,
it.
guys. Yeah,
We
just
we
say the
need to
word.
do it. Right. We
Yeah,
need
I
to do
think.
it, Jason. And not only that, I would have to say, and I say it with all sincerity, you know, and so many others that are using the products that have been here for well over a year, they'll tell you, I'm not stopping using the product. It it works, if nothing else, just to see people put it to use for their own health and their own benefit. If they don't want to do it as a business, that's fine, but at least do that. And that's what I feel the passion about, is it
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
So if
Well,
I
I
can take
mean,
an MRI and see it, it works.
yeah. Well, there's been more than 24 studies that have been done that dictate that, the heart reverses in age up to 8 years within the first 6 months of usage of the X39. And that, for that reason alone, after, of course, my dad had congestive heart failure and a number of angioplasties and a quad bypass, and my grandpa had a heart attack. So, anything I can do to minimize risk and maximize my heart health, I'm going to do it. That reason alone, I'll always wear the X39. Even if I didn't have all
Yes.
these results I already told you that I had. I am a huge advocate for it. I used to work in healthcare. I'm very familiar with preventative health maintenance and what that entails. And this to me is the most prolific regenerative health hack that I've ever seen that's ever been put on the market. We've earned major awards throughout the health community that, when combined with the X39 and our Cellergize, it won the a major industry award recently. So that's pretty significant that it recognizes the activation and proliferation of stem cells. No one else has created something like what we have, and that makes this opportunity so explosive. It's why we've grown 3,000% as a company in the last 4 years. I mean, you start thinking about stocks. You're thinking about, what stock should I be in? I'm like, this company's grown from 20 million to close to a billion in the last 4 years, and you could have a percentage of it, and it's only going to get better. And so that to me is, it took us 6 months to get to six figures in this business. And so anybody can, the moment they decide, hey, I want to flip the switch and I want to go, like, I want to do that, because
Right.
how much do you need to have in a retirement account that would pay you six figures a year for the rest of your life? I mean, that's the question. that a lot of people are saving towards retirement, or they're waiting for that lump sum that is big enough that they can take a bit out every month and they can live on it forever. Well, what if you could just, let's come out it the other way too. What if you could create something from scratch with this company that could take you to 3, 4, 7, 10,000 a month, and then on top of whatever you've already saved over the course of your life? That's a whole
That's right.
different approach to things. And that's how I look at things most of the time, is how can we help you get to the number you want? When you think maybe times are a little bleaker, or maybe they're not, people are, some people are actually being told, hey, sorry, you can't retire at 62 like I thought you could, 72 now, and like teachers are being told they got to stay like an extra 5 to 8 years on a lot of cases. I'm like, that's crazy when you've got your heart set on something. What if you could suddenly you can make up those differences? So those are the kind of conversations I'll have with folks. And then there's people that are like, I mean, there's a guy in this company, Steven, that's 24 years old and he makes $100,000 a month here. He's 24 years old. He
Wow.
just graduated from college. He started building in college, and now it's kind of taken off. But I'm like, man, if there's a fearless young man at 24 doing that, it's like, certainly I can do half that, right? I can do half that or a third of that. I mean, it's like, let's get on with it. So that's how I think about it. So I get inspired by all the stories that I hear, both with the physical health and then guys that are doing things with their finances, and I'm just like blown away by. Um,
Yes.
so I just share some of that because I want you to understand that those are the things that are happening in the company. It's insane. Um, so anyway, it's really been an incredible journey. It's a great business. And of course we got our water machine coming out for general release in spring now. I don't know what keeps holding things up, but that's like, that infuses light into your drinking water. The health benefits are pretty significant
I've
from
been waiting. I've been
from
waiting, waiting,
cutting
waiting.
from significantly cutting inflammation to removing microplastics from your blood to a lot of different problems that are being addressed in the human body. David Schmidt has created just another incredible invention that we have access to and that we can buy. So that's pretty awesome. So that's something to wait. That's something coming in the spring. I don't have a date. It's definitely months behind what we were told originally. So, so we're waiting patiently. And they did allow us to purchase one. We got to purchase one early for being leaders in the company. They're like, hey, you can spend your money with us now. And I'm like, okay. So we got one, and it's great. It definitely, you can feel the inflammation going out of your body as you drink the water. Like it is
Mm.
like within a minute. It's
I will
crazy.
definitely get one when they come out. So
Yeah.
listen, we're getting time here, guys. Dr. Gunner, if you would though, just because I am recording, if you would share a little bit of some of the things that have happened with you. You've had probably more things happen than anybody I know of. So, and people will believe you because you do have a DR in your name, and that's not Ron Gunter, that's Dr. Ron Gunter. So,
Well,
except your doctor. Now, your doctor I know doesn't believe you, but he had to admit it finally. Something's going on.
well, we had another talk the other day, and he's coming around a little bit. In fact, he offered to give me one of his patients he thought needed help, and the guy didn't want pain medicine. So I told him to send him over. But anyway, well, let's see. I had congestive heart failure, COPD. Oh gosh. I had a liver problem. I had glaucoma. I lost my thyroid to cancer. And boy, brother, you may have to help me out here. There were so many things that
And
happened.
kidney failure. You had stage 4 kidney failure. Those were the
Yeah.
first two things that resolved very quickly was no leaky heart valve, no congestive heart failure, and you went from stage 4 to stage 1 and then to stage 0. And
On the
then
kidney.
when your when your
That
thyroid
blows my
started
mind.
working. Your doctor didn't believe it because he said it was removed. And he ended up doing an ultrasound on you, and the thyroid had grew back on one side.
Yep. Well, that's all true, and I still use the patch. Here a while back, I had another little issue come up that you and I had talked about, and I'm starting to get all that resolved back again. I've been shoveling snow and stuff out there, so well, most of it's ice,
I tell you what,
but
it is absolutely amazing.
yeah, I still use the
Crazy.
patch. I use X39, and a lot of times I still use the 49 too. But I use a lot of Eon as well. It takes a lot of inflammation out, helps me out in a lot of places. And I guess Steve pointed out I was getting close to 95 now. So no, I'm getting up around, I'll be 71 on Friday, but I'm thankful I can still get around good. And well, brother, if you hadn't introduced me to the patch, I might not have been here.
Well,
Might not.
you're gonna kick right on down the road, so don't worry. Your daughter wouldn't allow you to die no ways, so she'd beat you if you even thought about it.
Well, if I did something like that, I'd probably be in real trouble. She'd beat me back to life, I think.
Oh gosh. All right, guys. I know it's late, so you guys have a good evening. And John, we'll see you on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
I'll load this over on X39 tonight. So if you
Okay.
guys want to be able to share it with anybody, you can. And
Have a good evening,
I
guys.
good. Thank you, Jason, for jumping on here with us as well.
Thank you, friends.
Okay. Good night, everyone. See you
Good
Tuesday,
night.
guys.
Sounds
Brother
good.
Good to see
Steve,
you guys.